and welcome to a brand new season of the Back of a Length podcast. I'm Renee, and back in the hot seat across from me is Mark.
Hello, how are we?
Hello.
Welcome back, season 3.
We made it to season 3, and oh my gosh, we are in the middle of an exciting cricket season. We've had a World Cup, we've had Bangladesh here, the Super Smash has kicked off, and I'm raring to go.
I'm also raring to go. I'm especially stoked given that we're not going to talk about the World Cup whatsoever. We can just get straight into the Super Smash. England didn't have a very good tournament in the World Cup, so we're going to move on from that very quickly and get straight into what's coming up this season.
Yes, as I said, we are in the middle of the Super Smash, one of my absolute favourite fixtures on the cricketing calendar. So let's have a look at how those teams are doing. And, well, Mark, the big winner so far is the rain.
Yeah, rain in the middle of a New Zealand summer. Who'd have thought it?
Oh, what do you know?
Who'd have thought it? Never been here before.
You know, oh my gosh,
Jesus.
so many games getting rained out. We've had the DLS in full force doing anything, and even a few games going off early for bad light. So, not great.
Yeah, it's just a repeat of last season, effectively.
It's just fun about making it fair.
Yeah, that being said, I think, since New Year we have had really good weather, so hopefully the latter end of the tournament should see some more action, some more game time, and some full results.
Hopefully. Now, looking at the tables, we have the Wellington Blaze on top of the women's table, which is absolutely no surprise, because have you seen that team?
We see this every year. It's
every
standard,
year,
right? We go, who's you got? Blaze. Blaze.
If you are looking for a team to keep a little eye on, the Hinds are actually pulling out some pretty good results. Meanwhile, the Brave are at the bottom of the table, still struggling a little bit, same as last season.
Yeah, it's relative, apart from obviously the Hinds doing so well, it seems like it is a bit of a relative repeat from last season. As you say, with the Blaze being on top, and I don't see that changing anytime soon over the next 2 or 3 editions of the Super Smash. And the Brave really do need to kind of, I guess, figure out where it's going wrong and try and address those areas. They did have a relatively young team, I think, last year as well, as a couple of teams did, to be honest, which we'll touch on another team in a little while. But yeah, they need to get their act together.
Yeah, it would be nice to see them get up and get some good wins. Over on the men's table, a bit up and down, to be honest. Good to see the Aces. Our Aces are not at the bottom, but they are in contention with the Firebirds, who also have a very strong team.
Yeah, the Aces do have a good team this year. I was generally surprised when I saw some of the players that were playing there in the first game. Obviously, made a few changes. We had Jimmy Neesham for 1 game only, which was nice. But I think the Aces this season, I think their success has been built on the top order. Actually making some runs at the start. You look at last year, you had George Worker. Still not entirely sure where his record in 2020 Super Smash comes from, because he played for the Central Districts and was absolutely smoking it at the top of the order. Came to Auckland, couldn't bring that form with him, so then you're already sort of 0 for 1, maybe 2 for 1, etc. It just puts a lot more pressure on the player coming in number 3, which was Sean Celia last season, and was mixing it with Mark Chapman. Mark Chapman recently crowned T20 Player of the Year. I feel like cricket is in some weird sort of state. It was
a nomination for
it was
T20
a nomination, right?
Of the year, but I mean, there's only 3 other nominees, so yes, you're quite surprised with that one.
I was very surprised, because I remember being at Outer Eden Oval last season, and he made duck after duck after duck, and then he had one good series prior to the World Cup, and suddenly he's nominated for being the best player in the world.
Yes.
What is going on?
What a joke. Looking at that men's table, the Brave are at the bottom despite some pretty good captaincy from Jeet Ravel. Of course, this is T20 cricket, so things can change very quickly. There is a number of players coming out of all 6 teams this week to go to international duty, with Pakistan coming here for a bunch of T20s. So the next 3-4 rounds, it could all change again.
Yeah, gates are definitely open for some of those teams at the lower end of the table, although the Brave, I suppose they haven't really had their internationals anyway, because they are a stacked bowling lineup. When you look at the likes of Wagner, Southey, they also have another couple of other players as well that do play relatively regularly for the Black Caps. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can do what in the old Black Caps arena.
It sure will be. So there's heaps and heaps of great players here in the Super Smash. So I thought let's pick one male and one female each who we want to highlight, because otherwise we'll just talk for hours and hours, and that would be quite boring. Standard. Really.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
No, you can go first.
I can't go first. Looking at the females, I would like to draw everyone's attention to Georgia Plummer. Now, she's been in and around the White Ferns squad for a while. But I was watching the other day, and you've got Mealy Kerr at the other end, because she plays for Blaze. All eyes on Mealy Kerr. But meanwhile, Georgia Plummer is down there ticking over the runs. She got 43 not out in this game against the Hinds. And she also took this incredible diving catch, the second one of the season. So I just want to say, Georgia Plummer, I like what you're doing. Keep it up.
Yeah, she's definitely off to a great start in this tournament. My female player is not necessarily one to watch. I'm just happy that she's back in Auckland. So I've gone for Maddie Green.
Maddie Green.
I really do enjoy watching Maddie Green play cricket. She has been away from Auckland for a while, started off her career with Auckland. She moved to Wellington, she's been with Central Districts, and now she is back with Auckland. So yeah, I don't really need to introduce her as a cricketer. I think her record speaks for itself. I'm just really happy that she's back in Auckland.
Yeah, she's been playing some really great performances. Helped the Hearts get to a win of the Magicians with about 78 not out or something.
She got 71, I think, and she's currently third for most runs in the women's format. So she is definitely bringing a whole heap of experience to what was last year a relatively inexperienced Hearts team. So I think the Hearts have definitely blended well there.
Up the Hearts.
Up the Hearts.
All right, let's have a look over on the...
I need to start making that oi-oi noise.
You really do. All right, let's have a look over on the men's table. Now, Mark, there's a saying in life: new year, new me. And
you should tell yourself that saying.
I'm not a fan of it, because I'm going to go new year, same me. Because my player to watch, Mark, is Michael Rippon.
Who would have thought? You'll obviously recognise the jingle from last season. I imagine that we'll probably be getting that out a few more times before the end of this season. Please do enlighten the audience as to why Michael Rippon, for the third year in a row, is your player to watch in the Super Smash. And bear in mind, this is our third season.
Okay, there is actually a legit reason why I want to highlight Michael Rippon at the moment, and it's not just because of the highlights in his hair. He's made the move. He's made the move slightly north through to the Canterbury team. He's the new lead spinner, particularly with Ish Sodhi going out with international duty. And he's just taken it by the horns. He's got a wicket in nearly every single game, and he also is just doing wonders with the bat. He brought up his maiden Super Smash 50 at the end of last year, and I was watching it, and it was incredible. Also put on this fantastic partnership with Cole McConkey to get his team through to a win, and he took 2 wickets against Auckland, but still let Auckland get a win. This guy can do no wrong.
That sounds like he's just a general all-round good guy. All-round good guy. I'm not going to talk about Michael Rippon anymore in response. I just don't. I think I've exhausted every single type of word or response that I could use to describe Michael Rippon. So I'm not going to steal the limelight anymore. I'm going to let you talk about your future husband. Your favourite cricketer, and I'll just sit back and enjoy that slice of the pie.
Okay, do you want me to keep going then, or?
You can, yeah. Crack on. You can crack on. If you want to hear more about Michael Rippon and Renee's infatuous love affair with Michael Rippon, please do head over to our socials and let us know. We'll probably put a poll out after this, and I say probably, I'm definitely going to, because I'm interested to see how many people are as wrapped up in Michael Rippon as Renee is. So,
wrapped up in Michael Rippon, you say?
There's definitely going to be some sort of jingle going in there as well. Moving on very swiftly before we get cancelled. My male player to watch out for this year is Dan Ferns.
Yes.
So
Keen.
this comes from, we went to watch Auckland Aces last year. I think it was against Canterbury Kings, and he got absolutely walloped everywhere. And I was like, he's a 6'5", 6'6" bowler, maybe even a little bit taller. Surely he should be getting a little bit more out of this surface. Doesn't seem like I don't know. I wasn't taken to him when I first saw him a couple of games last year. This year, however, seems to have come into his own. He's on 9 wickets, which is one behind the leading wicket taker for the tournament, and just seems to be bowling a better length for him. Just banging it in a little bit more, getting that steep bounce off a decent length. Very similar to what Kyle Jamieson was very successful at before he got his injury problems. He'd put it on a decent length, but because of his height, just get a little bit more bounce, which would then take the edge of the bat, take the shoulder of the bat and the glove. I think Donry Ferns is definitely having a better season this season. So yeah, one to look out for me.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Really big fan of Donry Ferns. All right, the Super Smash continues. They are in Auckland for 3 games across the next 10 days or so. We should be down there, so do come and say hi. We will be in the main park, not the outer oval, which is great because I can no longer make a fool of myself by yelling at the players.
You'll still try.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try. Let's turn our attention to the international arena. New Zealand are playing Pakistan from this Friday. 5 T20s, Mark. And that may seem a lot, but it is a very important series because the Cricket World Cup, the T20 edition, will be played in June this year, which is a little bit earlier than usual. So we are seeing the start of those preparations. I'm not going to run through the Black Caps team because it is an absolute mess, and they've somehow named 20 players to play various games across various places. I couldn't even make head or tail of it. So head over to the Black Caps Instagram page if you actually want to know who was playing where.
Yeah, we'll put out the team on our socials. We're not going to run through them because it feels like pretty much everyone in New Zealand's got to call up this series, which is quite exciting.
It is very exciting, but I do want to talk about one player, and I'm not just saying this player because I spoke words to him at the Outer Oval.
It's not Michael Rippon again, is it?
It's not Michael Rippon. Michael Rippon's probably the one player.
The first episode of Michael Rippon, is it?
No, Michael Rippon's probably the one player that's actually not playing in this T20 series. No, I just want to give a shout out to Finn Allen. We have talked about Finn Allen's form so much on this podcast, and we're just like begging Finn Allen to find some form. I think he might be there, and I say this because watching him play in the Super Smash, he scored like 50 plus in about 3 different games, and I think for the first time we've seen him leave the bad balls. We've seen him take a few balls to get in on his innings going, and he just has that little bit of composure that's been missing, and I think we're going to see Finn Allen go big.
I really hope that's the case. The one slight concern that I have about that is that Auckland Aces tactics will be slightly different to those of the Black Caps. So I do wonder if he was following a little bit of natural instinct, but he was encouraged, when we were last talking about his form last season when it wasn't so great, he was encouraged to go and hit from ball 1 a la Brendan McCullum to try and sort of wrestle the initiative for the Black Caps. I do hope that he does get time to build his innings up, because a player like Finn Allen, you can bat for 5 overs and be on 10 not out, and then be on 100 not out off 60 balls. You've done your job. That's a strike rate of 140 or whatever it works out to be. So hopefully he does give himself time. My player to watch for this series, again, no specific reason other than I just really enjoy watching them play, is Mohammad Rizwan.
Nice.
He and Baba were in incredible form. I think it was 2 years ago now. They were like number 1, number 2 of the T20 arena. Mohammad Rizwan is such a beautiful, stylish player to watch. He's a fighter as well, so him opening up at the top of the order will be really, really good to watch. And I think it's going to be a really good series. Obviously New Zealand at home will probably come in as favourites, but I think Pakistan have got a really, really good team, and they are one of those teams that do seem to fly under the radar a little bit. When you're talking about those best T20 teams, you obviously look at Australia, you look at England, although maybe not so much at the moment, and you look at, India, for example, and the West Indies to a degree. Best T20 teams. Pakistan never really get a mention in that, but they're relatively consistent, I think, in the performances they put out.
Yeah, you say that, Mark, but remember, Pakistan was in the final of the T20 World Cup in 2022 in Australia, so their T20 team is actually pretty good. They did slip up in the ODI World Cup last year, but this could be a very evenly poised series.
Yeah, I agree. One that I'm actually really looking forward to. We do like 2020. Obviously, we're more interested in, well, I personally am more interested in Test cricket, but I do like a 2020. We will be there at Eden Park on Friday, so if you are about, do let us know. And yeah, we'd love to, as always, have a catch up, have a beer with those who do want to catch up.
Absolutely. As we said, there is a lot of cricket to go and watch from the sidelines, both in the Super Smash and the internationals with the Black Caps. Can I just remind everyone before we move on, if someone hits a 6 or a 4 and it goes over and you catch the ball, don't try and be tricky and throw it back in a tricky manner, because what happened the other day on the sideline, Mark, is someone tried to do that and they nearly hit my 1-year-old niece with the cricket ball because they tried to do some kind of flicky shot. And yeah, so if you saw that, if you were watching on TVNZ or Duke and you saw the commentators going absolutely off, it was Aces Firebirds at Eden Park, and Scotty Stevenson was having the time of his life commentating the guy who tried to throw the ball back and hit someone. That was my niece.
And if you do know the person who threw the ball, please, 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 please give him shit.
I actually know him.
Do you know him? Well, you should give him shit then, because it was...
Well, I know, he's a friend of a friend of a friend.
Still don't know. I was looking at it trying to figure out, it's going to sound really geeky, but I was trying to figure out the physics of it, because his arm flicked like to the pitch as if he was throwing a ball back, and it just came out sideways.
It did.
I've no idea how it happened. It was hilarious to watch. If you've not seen it, get onto, I don't know, Twitter or... Can't call it Twitter these days, can we? Been a big change since we last did a podcast. Get onto X. And I think you have to pay like $25 to Elon Musk to watch videos these days, but well worth it.
Yes, go and find that very, very funny. And while you're over on the X, give us a follow at Back of the Links with a little underscore. You'll see our little logo there, or a nice picture of Mark and myself at the cricket. Of course, we're also on Instagram and Facebook. Just search Back of the Links podcast. Well, Mark, it has been a long winter, but I've been busy. Coming up,
God, I'm scared.
With some more first 11s, because it's that time. It's time for first 11 of the week.
Of the week.
Actually, I have to admit, I didn't actually write this particular first 11.
Oh, good.
Over winter. So while I was on holiday, took a few days off work across the summer or the holiday, Christmas time, whatever you want to call it. Shut down the country to New Plymouth. Got to go to Pukakura Park, which is the weirdest cricket ground I've ever been to.
What a place to watch cricket.
What a place to watch cricket.
So good.
But while I was going down, I thought, this is just such a lovely country we live in. Look at all those farms. And so with the help of our ex-family, we've put together the first 11 of things you find around the farm.
Sorry, just to interrupt.
Yes.
You had a 5.5 hour drive down to New Plymouth, and on the way, your attention was taken by, look at these lovely farms.
Yes, and also because I nearly...
literally nothing else to... Mind you, I've done that drive, and there isn't actually that much to take your attention, so, sorry, I'm trying to take the mick, but I can see why.
Yeah. I also nearly hit a goat.
Nearly hit a goat?
Yeah. There's a goat on the road. I nearly
hit it. Just punched him?
In the car, there's a goat on the road and I just swerve.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this first 11. In at 1, we have Greg Hay, as voted by the ex-family, the best Hay out of all the Hays, because we also got a Mitch Hay and a Matt Hay playing for Christchurch this season. But Greg Hay is the Hay that we've gotten for.
Yeah, I'm also very impressed that you got through all of those names without screwing it up once. That was a lot of Hays and a lot of names all put together very quickly. Sorry, go.
Okay, in at 2, Alan Lamb. In at 3, Angus Fraser. In at 4, Graham Onions. 5 is Matt Horns.
Oh, yeah, I see, yeah.
6 is Cran Bull. 7, Rodney Hogg. 8, Mark Orchard. 9, Romario Shepherd. 10, Rupert Worker. Not George Worker, we've gone someone better. And 11 is Joey Field. And I also have to give honourable mention to Matt Bacon, because that was a suggestion, but I said Bacon is bacon is a bit further in the old process.
It's still on a farm.
It is on a
farm
somehow, but it's it depends what you do on the farm.
Yeah, I also like how you've gone with Angus Fraser, but apparently that's not too far through the process, because you get Angus beef, which is after the cow has been.
That's a type of beef, though. It's not a process of.
Yeah, bacon's a type of pig, though, isn't it?
It's a cut. Bacon's a cut of meat, but Angus is a type of cow, no?
There's no such thing. I don't think there's such thing as an Angus cow.
Well, you can tell that we are Aucklanders through and through.
No, there's an Aberdeen. Oh no, there is an Aberdeen Angus cow. Oh, there's a red Angus cow. Tell you what, we don't just do cricket here, ladies and gentlemen. We also do nature.
We sure do. Okay, that is us for the week. As always, find us on the socials. Find us at the cricket. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us your opinions. What you want to hear from us this season. And until then, up the Aces, up the Hearts, up the Black Caps. Woo!
Yeah. All of those three, and yeah, please vote no to hearing more right from Michael Rippon.
See you next week.